And we can do this very, very simply because of the way we've stored the blocks. We're just going to use the standard swap function. vLevel, ID, vSource, doesn't matter what order you call these in, because they're just getting swapped, and vLevel, ID, vBlock. And that will do it. That will swap things for us. It'll do it in a reasonably efficient way. It doesn't matter that the contents of our vector are unique pointers or anything like that. Swap will take care of it all for us. Nothing's going to get lost or deleted or confused or duplicated or anything like that. It's just going to handle it for us. And once we've done the swap, we now need to update our cursor position. Well, our update is simply now where the source was. We're just going to move our cursor backwards towards the start. So that's the second half done. If a push was allowed, then we work backwards from wherever the cursor was and move all of the blocks into the neighbouring space. One last thing to do. We need to update our player's coordinate. And that's very simple, because I'm going to take this little switch block again. To make sure I'm in the right set of brackets here if we're pushing, and yes, if we allow the push, depending on the direction of the push, we're now setting our flipping around, no moving around. So if everything's happened, if we've moved all the blocks, then the player is allowed to move into the cell it was next to, and that's going to be facilitated by this little switch case here. So take the direction of the push. If it's north, we move the player up the screen, south, down the screen, east and west. So. Right. Will any of that work? This is where we've got to have some fingers crossed time. It compiles. That's a good start. So let's run it. So the white square is the player. And as I tap the keys, doesn't matter if I hold them down, you'll see the player moves around. And I can't move into the blue cells. Hissing Stone, thank you very much. Hi vSource, Javid here. So what you might notice straight away is, well, hang on, all of that we've just done, we've never explicitly sort of made the player move, except for that very last bit at the end. So it must, in order to have allowed the player to move, it must have allowed the push, even though we're not pushing against any